You like any juice?
This is going to be a particularly juicy episode, I think.
Oh, I'm juicing all over the place. We're recording on Indigenous Peoples Day.
Is it really?
It is Indigenous Peoples Day. And I wanted to celebrate by watching a assuredly problematic film. Welcome to Saturday Night Jive, where we talk about Saturday Night Live and Saturday Night Live related movies. This week, we're not watching a movie related to Saturday Night Live.
Because I had the self-discipline to choose all my movies with SNL cast members in it, except for Mr. Magoo.
I was going to say, you put one cheat pick on there. There's a cheat pick from the audience, and there was a cheat pick from me on the wheel. And the first thing we spun was my cheat pick. The film Three To Tango, starring SNL hosts Matthew Perry, Nev Campbell, and Dylan McDermott. And directed by the guy who directed a Garrett Morris movie, so it counts.
My question to you before we watch the movie, because we haven't watched it yet, is, I guess it was a self-imposed arbitrary rule that you only get one cheat pick. Do you think this was the best one you could have picked?
No. No. I don't know why it made my list of options. I was just scrolling through things, and I had put Three To Tango on there like a long time ago, because I was like, I remember enjoying it, and what I'm hoping for is something in line with Boat Trip, where it's like, yes, it's probably like not cool, but like its heart will be in the right place.
I would say certainly more so than Boat Trip, I would hope. But I don't know, I feel like when I was coming up with my list, I had like a list of like 120 movies and I was weeding them down, you know? Yeah. And I feel like you were just going like, boop.
Yeah, I did. That's kind of my system.
Because we're going to have another list right now in a little bit here that we're going to talk about. And I feel like I hope you exerted more discipline.
Oh, no. If anything, this list was well-researched and well thought out. Okay, so welcome to Saturday Night Jive. If you don't know, we have an email, SaturdayNightJivePodcast@gmail.com, where you can email us suggestions for things you would like us to watch, comments, questions, concerns. And we got one question before we do what we do. Ben, who do you hate more, Chevy Chase or Bill Murray? That was the question.
Oh,
from one of our listeners.
Well, I think, I was going to say that's an easy question, but I don't think it is now that I think about it. Because I was immediately going to say Bill Murray. But now Chevy, well, because, I don't know, I think because Chevy Chase's career has, like, taken such a fucking downturn, like he's in Talking Dog movies and shit, that he feels like less, like his assholishness feels like he's getting punished for it.
Yeah, but Bill Murray was in two Garfields.
But that was a mistake for, thinking a different Coen brother was making it. But for the most part, he's still, like, relevant and, like, shows up in, like, real movies and, like, fucking Wes Anderson movies and shit. So I feel like he's gone unpunished for all of his assholery, whereas Chevy Chase, I don't know, maybe I'm feeling real sorry for the man at this point.
Well, I mean, for my money, I don't hate anyone. Who do I like more?
Oh, so you love Hitler? Is that what you're saying?
Big
fan of the Hitler
guy?
guy?
I mean, I can rank people.
Where does Hitler rank?
I don't know him personally. I can't say that I hate him.
Compared to Chevy Chase and Bill Murray.
We might get along swimmingly. But I mean, as far as their, like, productive output, yeah, I would say Hitler's worse than Chevy Chase. I mean, comparing the Third Reich to, like, Zoom... Yeah, it's, they're kind of comparable.
But compare...
but I think one is definitely worse.
Compare the Holocaust and the death of 6 million Jews to Garfield, A Tale of Two Kitties.
Yeah, no, it's a tricky gray area there. But no, I mean, as an actor and performer, I enjoy Bill Murray more than Chevy Chase.
Honestly, because I know so much of, like, just what a piece of shit he is in real life, I find myself unable to enjoy his performances now.
But you know what? They're both pieces of shit.
I'm not saying I enjoy Chevy Chase's performances either.
No, I mean, as a performer and a comedian and a comic actor and even a dramatic actor, yeah, all around, I think Bill Murray is an upgrade from Chevy Chase. I'm actually watching season 2 right now where Bill Murray came on, and it's like a different energy that I like, because, you watch season 1 and Chevy Chase is like the fucking star of the show. He opens every show, he's Weekend Update, he's in like almost every sketch. He's the face of Saturday Night Live. And then in season 2, he gets the fuck out of there because he's like, I'm a big fucking star now.
Oh, was it that early? I thought he lasted a couple seasons.
No, he did season 1, and then it's like 6 or 7 episodes of season 2, and then he hightails it out of there. And then there's a couple episodes without anybody, filling in, and then Bill Murray comes in, and it's like, oh shit, the show's like cool now. Like Bill Murray just has like a cool energy to the room that I don't think Chevy Chase had more of a small. It was more about Chevy Chase. When you watch season 1 of SNL, it's like it almost sometimes seems like the Chevy Chase and Friends variety hour. And then when Bill Murray comes on, he's like part of the cast. You know, you really get that semblance of like the core group. It never really felt that way with Chevy in it.
And of course, season 2 with Chevy felt more like the Chevy Chase show in that it only lasted a few episodes and then...
Yeah, in that way it was exactly like the Chevy Chase show. Alright, but going on to it, before we watch Three To Tango, which is assured to be one of our favorite movies of all time.
Fuck you forever.
We got a request to rank who the hottest Saturday Night Live cast members, both male and female.
Okay, when you read hottest, what did you mean? Because I read that to mean fuckable.
Well, I kind of went... that's kind of where I went with... We'll get into it with some of my picks. I mean, some of my picks are just like ladies I wouldn't mind spending the evening with. And then some of my picks are ladies I think we could get along swimmingly with and have a good time.
No, see, I want all of these men inside of me. And
the men, too. I'm like, personality goes a long way, because, I mean, this is also a straight man's perspective of what hot is.
Well, also, I just wanted to say, like, I kind of tried to go out of my way to not just pick, like, conventionally attractive people. Like, I was trying to go more for, like, energies that I respect.
I did that, too. What I did was I took, all the cast members. Well, I went through all the cast members, and then I took out the ones that I was like, oh, yeah, okay, swipe right. I was swiping right and swiping left on all the cast members, basically. And then I had like 30 names of 30 guys and 30 girls, and then I had to whittle it down, and it was like, fuck, man, like Chris Elliott was really hard to get rid of. Because I'm like, Chris Elliott, okay, not conventionally attractive. I mean, most Chris Elliott comedy is based on the fact that I'm a weird-looking dude. My wife, for my wife, this was a listener request.
Oh, is that why she was coming up?
I am married to the hottest woman on the world.
Well, no, because the number one on my list is way hotter than your wife.
I mean, when we get to my number one, we'll talk about it. But like Chris Elliott, he's a goofy looking dude. But I think me and Chris Elliott could have a fine life in Vermont. Just sitting on the porch.
Oh, so you're imagining like romance. I was just thinking dirty, dirty sex.
Well, I mean, I guess, it's a list left up to our interpretation. So, do you want to go girls first or boys first? And I figured we could just alternate.
No, I figured we'd mix them up. We do like our 10 girl, 10 boy.
Oh, okay. So you want to do all?
Yeah.
What do you want to do? Do you want to do all girls, and then all boys?
No, I'm saying do the boy, girl, boy, girl, boy, girl.
Oh, okay. So is
that too confusing?
No, that's not too confusing. Is your list in order?
Yes.
Okay, I put my list in order. For the guys, orders are subjective, but these are definitely my top 10.
Yeah.
Now, I got a top one. My girls are pretty solid order.
I do got to preface this with, I don't know as many of the newer people, so I don't know how, like, if you have, like, Ego Nwodim on your list. I don't remember. I saw her in a movie, and I don't remember what she looks like.
She was a cut. She's an attractive lady.
But what I'm saying is, like, I don't have a lot of those people. Like, any of the new, like, the last 5 years of cast members. Yeah. Pretty much I
really tried to go, like, because I'm the SNL nerd, I really tried to get obscure. But then as I was cutting people, like, I think you're going to recognize all of these names.
See, I don't know. I think I might have been kind of a basic bitch on mine. So.
I was like, Luke Knoll, who was a one-season wonder.
No idea.
Not the most attractive guy, but I looked at his picture and I'm like, he's like a little cuddly, squishy guy. Like, I wouldn't mind that. But I couldn't make room for Luke Knoll on the list.
Yeah.
All right, so we start with your number 10 boy.
My number 10 boy is Brad Hall.
I thought about Brad Hall, but he's too gangly and scrawny for me.
I understand that. I'm not even really that interested in having sex with Brad Hall. My thing is, Brad Hall, you get Julie Louis-Dreyfus. My plan is to seduce Brad Hall and get it in with Julie Louis-Dreyfus.
So you're telling me, in your imagination, Julie Louis-Dreyfus is having a cup of coffee downstairs in the kitchen. She hears a rustling upstairs. She's like, what's that? And she opens the door. She sees her husband bent over, and you behind him go, ha ha ha! And you think she's like, ooh, me next.
First off, I appreciate the courtesy of assuming I'm the top in the scenario. And yeah, I think she sees that, and she sees my natural cuckolding dominance, and she's just instantly attracted to it.
All right. My number 10 is, do you know Alex Moffat?
Yes, I know Alex Moffat.
Yeah, I was sad when he left the show, because
I didn't know he was off the show.
He was a nice piece of eye candy, you know what I'm talking about.
I feel like he kind of took over like the Taron Killam, Jason Sudeikis kind of, everyman.
He was the straight guy mostly, but he was also funny. I really liked Alex Moffat, and as I was looking at his picture today, I'm like, yeah, I'd take a pass at Alex Moffat. All right. Number 10 gal.
My number 10 gal would be higher on the list, except there's some controversy surrounding it. It's Christy Neversall.
Oh, she was an early cut for me.
Really? See, the reason she's only number 10, she would be higher on my list, except, as we established in the Donald Pleasance episode, I don't know how busty she is.
Modest. I don't know if she's.
I don't know. I was looking through Google image searches, and like half the pictures were like, "Oh yeah, she's fine, whatever." Like, and then half of them were like, "I think she wasn't actually stuffing her bra in that episode." It's just there's a couple. I don't know if it's just angles or what, but I don't know. Until I know for sure, I can't keep her any higher than 10.
Okay. Well, I mean, I didn't rank my women on breast size.
Oh, that's the only one that's like that.
Except my number 10 is Pamela Stevenson.
That's your number 10? She's way higher on my list.
I got a solid roster of ladies here. Pamela Stevenson, I think I made her number 10 just because I was like, I can't just go for the boobs. I'll put her on the list, but, the face-to-boob ratio is a little off there, if I could be
I'm now intensely curious about the rest of your fucking list.
All right, well, let's go to who's your number 9 boy?
My number 9 boy is David Spade.
Again, too scrawny and skinny and tiny for me.
But he has a reputation for having a huge dick.
Oh, okay. Well, if that's what you like. Ben's a size queen. We're learning that today.
Look, in this scenario, I mean, if I'm going to have sex with a dude from SNL, I, might as well.
I guess, if you're interested in seeing what's in there, too.
Because he apparently in the 90s, he had like a whirlwind romance with like a bunch of like stuff. He was dated Laura Flynn Boyle. Apparently she cheated on him with Jack Nicholson at one point.
Yeah, he's a notorious poonhound.
Yeah, but he also seems like he'd be kind of a nice guy in person. I think that's mostly an act. Like
I think his smarm is a little bit of an act, but still, I don't thinking romantical. I don't think me and David Spade would have
Once again, I'm not thinking romance. I'm just thinking hardcore fucking.
See, in my mind, I had to get that. I couldn't just imagine myself just boning all of these people. I had to I imagined us on a date, even with the ladies and the men. I first imagined our first date at a dinner. Would we talk? Would we connect? Because one that I had to cut, for that specific reason was Victoria Jackson. I don't know if she made your list.
Oh, but, no, just her politics took her off my list immediately.
Yeah, like I said, personality goes a long way. I was like, oh, Victoria Jackson. Hell yeah, man, when she was on SNL, she was banging. And then I'm like, what the fuck are we going to talk about, though?
That's the thing. I don't want to be banging, and then I look over and there's a fucking clan robe, and I'm just like, what am I doing with my life?
I don't know. All right. So your number 9, my number 9 guy, Mr. Gary Kroger. Handsome man, that Gary Kroger.
I left him off the list because I realized I've seen him in things. I've seen him in the show. I've seen him in movies. And I can't picture his face. He is like the most, middle-of-the-road human being. Like, he's like the textbook human being of just bland, average man.
No, he's a good-looking guy. He also reminds me a little bit of, we have the same kind of swagger, I think, me and Gary Kroger.
So you want to fuck yourself, is what you're saying.
I think we could get along real well, and I'd be like, I see a little bit of me in him, and then I see a little him in me, you know what I'm talking about?
I just, having so much fun with this list, we might have to go really long, and maybe we won't have time to watch fucking 3 to Tango.
Oh, shit, we might not have time to watch 3 to Tango? Where are we? Okay, so your number 9 lady.
My number 9 lady is somebody who I didn't know existed or was on SNL until I saw Megalopolis, and that's Chloe Fineman.
Yeah, too skinny for me, too. I didn't even consider her.
I wouldn't have thought, except I liked her in Megalopolis, and I hated that movie. It's the worst movie of the year, but she was fine in it, and she looked fine in it.
I watched the first 10 minutes of that on a cam, and I went, no, goddamn
no,
way.
You got to see that on the big screen, which you can't because they've taken it out of all the theaters, because it's the lowest grossing movie in 20 years.
My number 9 is a little. I'm not in love with this pick, but I did go with Sarah Silverman.
Oh, she's way higher on my list, too.
Oh, she is? Okay. Well, I mean, I almost just neglected her just because of time on SNL. If I'm thinking just on SNL, I mean, but every time she showed up on SNL, I was like, hey, cute lady.
Can I just throw out here, if fucking...
I mean, I did consider Luke Knoll.
If fucking Father Guido Sarducci is on your list...
He was a cut.
We're ending the podcast.
I thought about it. I was going through all of them, and I'm like, well, I gotta represent Father Guido Sarducci. I mean, he's a good-looking guy.
I mean, I did think of Alan Zweibel a little bit, but... okay.
Alan Zweibel... No. Yeah. Alan Zweibel doesn't do it for me.
So what do we want? Number 8 men?
Number 8 men.
Phil Hartman.
He was a real late cut for me.
He's got that, that just wholesome dad vibe, I feel like he'd be a gentle lover. I think that's the perfect choice for me.
Good looking guy, and again, personality goes a long way. I would say might be my all-time favorite SNL cast member. I mean, probably not my all-time favorite SNL cast member, because I would go Fringe with Norm Macdonald, but if I was seriously ranking the best sketch players in SNL history, it would be Phil Hartman.
Either him or Farley for me, yeah.
Anyway, where are we now? Oh, my number 8. This will please my wife. I do have Chevy Chase at number 8. My wife loves young Chevy Chase. Every time a picture of young Chevy Chase comes up, even old Chevy Chase, sometimes she's like,
Does she listen to the podcast? Does she know how disgusted I am of her?
Well, she's listening from the other room right now, and she's texting me. She wants me to read her list. But she's saying, she's telling me 8, what the fuck, 8, I love old Chevy.
Yeah, no, that's disgusting in so many ways.
No, I mean, I watched the first season of SNL, Chevy Chase. I mean, there was a reason he's got the movie star looks. Man.
Again, I'm not saying he's not physically
going up to
attractive.
Hollywood.
I'm not saying he's not physically attractive. I'm just saying his attitude and his reputation sully that for me.
It's true, but I was also thinking 1975 Chevy Chase. He could probably put the movies on me. I mean, usually I don't go for that, bravado and, machismo, arrogance. But I think maybe if I was 1975 and Chevy Chase, tried to woo me, I think I'd fall for it.
See, I think, Brad Hall submitted to my dominance, whereas I don't think Chevy Chase is going to.
No, I think Chevy Chase dominates you. You have no choice in the matter. Chevy Chase holds out his hand and you take it.
Whereas Phil Hartman, he'll be the top in that scenario, but, he'll be gentle and he'll be kind and generous.
Yeah, now, see, I wasn't focusing so much on the fucking...
What the fuck did you think we were doing here?
I was looking at nice faces.
It was hottest. Not, cutest or...
Well, when we get to my top 5, maybe I'll be drooling a little bit more. Alright, so we did our number 8 guy. Your number 8 lady.
My number 8 lady is Noelle Wells.
Yeah, it doesn't do it for me.
Not so much. I didn't really know her much on SNL, but I thought she was really cute on Master of None. The Ansari show.
And I was trying not to take future... Well, I mean, I did that with Victoria Jackson, so I can't say that. But, I was trying not to take other things. I was trying to only rank SNL hotness.
Oh, so them in their... Yeah, I kind of tried to do that as well. At least in terms of just physical attractiveness. I'm basing it on when they were in their prime on the show.
Right. My number 8 is Gail Mathias.
Again, way higher on my list.
Gail Mathias. I got some good ones coming up. And I got a couple that you might have overlooked just because you're not as big of an SNL fan. But Gail Mathias, yeah, she's a looker. I guess we'll talk more about her later. Who's your number 7 boy?
My number 7 boy is Bill Hader.
Hey, mine too.
Just because he's funny and charming. I like him in SNL. I like him in the It movies.
Yeah.
Well, all the movies. He was Alpha 5 in the Power Rangers movie.
He's a good-looking guy, and my wife apparently says the rumor is he's got a big one too.
Hey, I didn't hear that rumor, but I'm happy to enjoy his giant Bill Hader dick.
Yeah, good-looking man. So yeah, my number 7 was also Bill Hader. So let's move over to you. Who's your number? It's your 7 lady.
My number 7 lady is probably much higher on your list. It's Mary Gross.
Yes, Mary Gross is much higher on my list, so we'll talk about her later. My number 7 lady is Jan Hooks.
Yeah, that was a cut for me.
It was almost a cut for me, but then again, I was like, fucking personality goes a long way. One, I will say Jan Hooks. little bit of a fucking smoke show when she was on SNL.
She's not that she's not attractive. She just has kind of mom vibes.
Well, those were the characters she played. She's kind of like that Mary Gross, too, where she...
Of course, Christy Neversole as well, you know?
Yeah, you put a wig and some glasses on Jane Hooks, and she looks all, like, frumpy, and I'm like, oh, I don't like that. But then, Sweeney Sisters, Jane Hooks.
Oh, you dress her up like the log lady in the Twin Peaks sketch.
I'll take some of that. My wife disagrees, apparently. All right, 10, 9, 8, 7. Number 6 men.
My number 6 man is Charles Rocket.
See, thought about it. But again, too skinny and gay. Just on SNL.
Maybe that's just my type. I don't know. But I don't know. He seems like...
Tall, skinny guys.
Yeah, I don't know. Both just the strong jaw. And just, he's got a very powerful presence. You know?
See, I think that's more later. That's why I cut him. Because on SNL, he was always making, like, goofy fucking faces and shit. Like, my love of Charles Rocket has nothing to do with his tenure on Saturday Night Live. I really think he was horrible on Saturday Night Live. And my thoughts on his hotness specifically are definitely more post-SNL.
See, I actually think, well, I mean, relative to most of that cast, I actually think he's probably one of the better ones.
Of that cast?
Yeah.
Well, you just wait and see. Where do we go now? Is it a boy for me?
What, number 6 boy? What's your number 6 boy?
My number 6 boy? Again, this is one where I had to differentiate between looks and talent. Future talent, definitely, but on SNL, Robert Downey Jr. was just a good-looking boy.
See, but I don't think he was that good-looking. He was kind of drugged out and shit. That's why that didn't make my list. He was kind of strung out.
He stuck out like baby doll eyes, and, he's just a cute little boy.
Because I guess, I considered Anthony Michael Hall as well. Of course, he was too young,
Yeah, no, I think in the looks department, I think Downey Jr. has it over Anthony Michael Hall.
Oh, certainly, but I don't know, there's something about, there's a kind of dirty, dangerous energy to pre-sober Robert Downey Jr. that I don't know, it's dangerous. It's like, I feel like I'm going to be in fucking less than zero.
I don't know, I kind of like that, He's on SNL, and you're like, who is this guy? He's just fucking mugging and making goofy faces, and then at the after party, he comes in, he's smoking a cigarette and a leather jacket, and you're like, oh, hello.
I mean, to be fair, my number 4 and my number 2 are pretty grungy.
Yeah, no, I can kind of dig some grunge. Who's your next lady? I don't know what number we're on. 6?
Number 6 lady, relatively recent, Shazir Zameda.
Shazir Zameda is my number 5, spoiler alert, but yeah, good looking lady.
Yeah, and I started watching Agatha All Along, and she's really good in that.
Oh, she's in that?
Yeah.
I always liked her on SNL, too, because she was, I think SNL was the wrong fit for her.
Yeah, I don't think she ever really found her, like, right fitting for it, but yeah.
No, because I don't think she's that type of... I don't really think she's a comedian. I think she's an actress.
No, and she's really good in Agatha All Along.
Yeah, but I don't... like a sketch performer... I mean, it wasn't that she was bad, it's just, she never had, like, characters or, she didn't really have that type of personality that's great for SNL. But, she's a good-looking lady. My number 6 lady was, speaking of Chris Elliott, he did bear the fruit of Abby Elliott.
I don't know enough about Abby Elliott.
Oh, Abby Elliott's a looker.
Also, the only thing I knew her from other than SNL was How I Met Your Mother, when she was the crazy girlfriend.
Yeah, she's on there. I know she's on The Bear now, but I don't watch that.
I don't think I could stand watching The Bear.
I know, it doesn't look like a show I would enjoy.
I just hate chef culture, like that fucking, yes, chef shit, like, fuck you.
Nah, I know nothing about The Bear, but I just see it and I go, oh, yeah, that's not for me. But Abby Elliott on SNL, I was like, yeah, that's good. And, similar with your Brad Hall theory, I'm thinking, hey, Abby Elliott brings me home for Thanksgiving after we've been dating for a couple of days. Chris Elliott's like, oh, hey, and then we get along, and now we're all fucking...
I can't remember. Did I put Clara's Ghost on the wheel?
No.
Okay, because that was what I was interested in as well. That was they made the entire Elliott family made like a horror movie.
Yeah, that seems interesting. All right, Abby Elliott. Okay, who's your next boy?
Number 5 boy, Chris Kattan.
Okay. Explain.
He's Mango.
He is Mango. I wasn't considering SNL characters because I left Kristen Wiig off my list. Just because Kristen Wiig by herself doesn't really do much for me. But some of her characters, like if she was Shauna and she was farting and diarrhea doo-doo in her pants, I'm like, well, fuck, I'm taking a swing at that.
You're fucking right in that diarrhea asshole.
But Chris Kattan, I don't know.
I mean, not just Mango, also Mr. Peepers.
I mean, that does it for me.
Also, the Cajun lawyer.
Saul Forrester, you talking about?
He's Cajun, right?
He's a more gibberish.
Well, more nondescript oddball. But yeah, I don't know. Plus, I just feel like he seems like a very humble man who is even more humbled by his accident.
You mean now?
Yeah.
I mean, I liked him on Big Brother, Celebrity Big Brother, when he was on there. But I wasn't thinking like, hey, I'd like to be in that house.
He's the best part of Crazy Enough.
It's the only part of Crazy Enough. He's both main stars of that film. My next man is Sweaty Eddie Murphy.
I left him off the list because I thought he was a little too obvious. Like, because he's conventionally attractive and just kind of like. I feel like everybody would have Eddie Murphy on their list.
But I think with Eddie Murphy, it's more swagger and attitude too, because I don't think Eddie Murphy's like in the face.
Well, he's got the gap in his teeth, and but I think that gives him character.
Yes, well, I don't think he's a conventionally attractive man, but he's got the fucking swagger. You know, you put him on stage, he's got his fucking little velour tracksuit zipped down to his navel, and you're like, all right, man, the guy's got confidence. Confidence goes a long way.
I would say, contrary to what I've established as my type of tall, skinny dudes, I think he looked better after SNL when he filled out and became more, he wasn't as lanky.
Yeah, well, he was also 18 years old when he got cast on SNL. So he was...
So we're talking jailbait at this point.
Exactly. That's why I left Anthony Michael Hall off my list, because I believe he was 17.
Was he actually not even...
I don't think he was... Yeah, he's definitely the youngest cast member, and I'm pretty sure Eddie Murphy was either 18 or 19, so Anthony Michael Hall was 17 or 18.
Do you think they would ever cast anyone younger than 17 at this point?
I doubt it. Like Pete Davidson, I think, was like 20. All right, next lady.
My number 5 lady is Nasim Pedrad.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Nasim Pedrad's much higher on my list.
Well, we're getting to the end of it.
Yeah, and my 5th, as we already discussed, was Sashir Zameda. So let's move over to... We're in the top 5? No, we're in the top 4 boys. Your number 4 boy.
My 4th boy is Chris Farley.
He was a very late cut for me.
Right, because he's a big fat pillow that I want to lay on.
Again, yeah, it looks cuddly and sweet too. Like
you're having fun with Chris Farley in and out of the bedroom.
Yeah, just cuddling with Chris Farley afterwards, I think would just be a delight. But yeah,
and that's the one where you talk about, you want to take him out on a date. I want to go to dinner with Chris Farley.
I know, he was a very late cut for me, and then I only cut him because I was like, well, I got it. If we're ranking on hotness, he's definitely not my type.
But physically, but that's also I was thinking about that too, just as an experiment,
Yeah,
I wouldn't necessarily go for that, but let's just try it out.
Yeah, no, my number 4 is much more lean and manly. It's Tim Meadows.
He was a cut for me. I must have him.
Yeah, Tim Meadows, he loved to get shirtless on SNL. Every now and then, Tim Meadows would just take his shirt off for no reason, and you're like, God damn, Tim Meadows, you do fucking sit-ups, don't you?
Well, I mean, he was the ladies' man. Huh?
He was the ladies' man. My wife does not agree. She says, sorry, no, what the fuck. Not a Tim Meadows fan, apparently.
Really?
All right, your number 4 lady.
My number 4 is Gail Mathias.
Gail Mathias, yeah, she's definitely a looker. But my number 4, top 4, I think my top 4 is unquestionable. Number 4, Sherry O'Terry. Not even make your list, Sherry O'Terry?
Sherry O'Terry and Molly Shannon, both... They just had, and I would say on a gas star, they just had, I don't know how to describe it, but there's something about their energy that rubs me the wrong way sexually.
What? Sherry O'Terry was a tiny little spark plug.
But there's like a desperation to be liked that I find off-putting.
No, I think Sherry O'Terry that's just her way. She's just bubbly and fun, and I think she's natural.
It doesn't do anything for me.
Nah, Sherry O'Terry, unquestionable top 5. We did your lady. Okay, number 3 man.
My number 3 is Jason Sudeikis.
Hey, with a bullet. Number 3, we both agree. Jason Sudeikis.
Much in the same way as
fuckable SNL cast.
Phil Hartman, though, also kind of a dad quality, and
yeah. Seems cool, seems nice.
But seems like an everyman, Yeah. Seems like you could have a beer with him.
We'd have a good hang, and then I'd check out his hang.
Yeah.
Number 3 lady.
My number 3 lady is Sarah Silverman.
Sarah Silverman. All right. Any more thoughts on Sarah Silverman?
Well, and this is, again, going for just conventionally attractive, I don't think you can argue against fucking Sarah Silverman.
She was, no, attractiveness, yes. Definitely cute lady. again, she's almost the opposite Victoria Jackson, where I was like, what are we going to talk about? Are we going to have a good time hanging out?
I think she'd be fucking hilarious, and she'd be dirty and weird. And
yeah, I don't know. I don't know if we'd mesh conversation.
She's got that kind of Mr. Show energy, you know?
Kinda, but yeah, there's a quality to Sarah Silverman where it's not like I don't like her. I'm just like, I don't think we'd be a good couple. That's why she was my number 9.
So yeah, I'm not worried about that. These are one-night stands for me.
Oh, well, my number 3 is, we're booking the honeymoon suite right now. Julie Louis-Dreyfus. I'm guessing she's higher on your list.
Oh, certainly.
But no, I had 2 higher on my list, so we'll talk about Julia Louise later.
Well, she's my number 2, so.
Oh, she's your number 2? All right, well, first let's go to your number 2 boy.
My number 2 boy is Brooks Wheelan.
Brooks Wheelan?
Yes.
Well, you like tall, skinny, weird-looking dudes.
Apparently. He's swarthy, he's kind of dangerous, but not like Robert Downey Jr. dangerous. Like, dangerous but approachable. I feel like I can change him, I can fix him.
He looks like dirty and kind of stinky.
But not in an unhot way.
I mean, I would say he's an alright-looking dude, but like, I don't know. Didn't do much for me. But I did pick a tall, lanky dude. I went number 2, Norm Macdonald.
I
dimples. I'll put my dick right in them dimples.
Because I couldn't separate how much I love him as a comedian and his talent, and think like that was coloring my idea that he should be on this list.
Oh no, I think he's a good-looking man. I mean, number 2 might be high, but I would definitely put him in the top 10, regardless of how I feel about him. As a comedian.
He was definitely on my list, but he was a late cut.
All right, well, now we are getting into the. Oh wait, no, number 2 ladies.
Oh, mine's Julie Louis-Dreyfus.
Oh, right, Julie Louis-Dreyfus. All right, let's talk about Julie Louis-Dreyfus. Yeah,
I think at her hottest, I would say.
Strong case for number 1. In all honesty, you watch Julie Louis-Dreyfus seasons of SNL, you're coming away thinking one thing: this lady is a hot.
And maybe if we get with her, we can get it in with Brad Hall.
And then maybe I'll be making out with her. Brad Hall's like, I'll take a piece of that. All right, well, my number 2 lady was already mentioned, Nasim Pedrad.
Even
I really gotta say about that?
Even in that TV show where she plays a little boy. No,
what was that?
What was that show called?
I never watched it. Chad
I never
or
watched
something?
it.
Yeah, it was like the name of her character. I never watched that. I liked her on New Girl. I watched New Girl.
I didn't watch New Girl.
She was on that. I think that's the only...
wasn't she on the John Mulaney show as well?
Oh, yeah.
I think she quit SNL to do the John Mulaney show, didn't she?
Yeah, she quit SNL to do John Mulaney.
I got canceled after like 5 episodes.
Was it... Okay, because I only watched like 2 episodes.
I don't think it was a full season.
Yeah, and I was like, man, you got John Mulaney, Nasim Pedrad, and Martin Short, and I can't watch this?
Martin Short, another late cut on my list.
I almost had Martin Short on my list. Absolutely. But that was one where I was like, that was kind of a norm, or for me, that was my Norm Macdonald. It was like, am I just doing looks, or am I doing looks and personality? This is definitely looks and personality, because if I saw Martin Short out in the wild not knowing who he was, would I take a pass at him? Probably not.
See, I think he would exude his personality, though.
Yes, if I met Martin Short and had dinner with Martin Short, of course I'm fucking Martin Short. There's no question about it. But I didn't think that was in the spirit of the list.
Also, pretty sure the rumor is he's Martin Long.
Oh, really?
No, I don't even know.
Oh, I was going to say,
I just wanted the pun.
Let's ask Meryl Streep.
All right. That's right. Yeah, we didn't talk about that. He's apparently fucking Meryl Streep.
It's a rumor. I don't think they've officially said it, but they're always like holding hands at award shows and such. All right, we're in the top. I don't think mine are going to be any surprise if you've listened to any episodes of Saturday Night Jive.
I'm wondering if we have the same number 1 man.
But who is your number 1 man?
Joe Piscopo.
It's of course Joe Piscopo.
I mean, that makes who the fuck else would it be?
Take me in your arms, carry me off on a sandy beach, and make love to me on the dunes.
Then we can watch Dead Heat with your own live commentary.
I would love that. And this one goes. This is goes against the Victoria Jackson rule. Joe Piscopo. I know he's I don't know if he's a Trumper, but he's a Republican. Still.
See, I don't know if
Dennis Miller was a late cut for me too.
If he was an active Trumper, if I knew for a fact he was an active Trumper, I might have actually bumped him down on the list. But I mean, being conservative, that's fine. Whatever.
Yeah. And he's not all like crazy, like anti-gay marriage and stuff
he
like
might
Victoria
be for all
Jackson.
we fucking know.
Well, he might be, but also I feel like Joe Piscopo. Like, yeah, I've seen him on Fox News talk about shit, but I feel like if we're just hanging out talking politics, isn't going to come up on the first date, second date, third date. You know, we're going to save that conversation. I'm having dinner with Victoria Jackson. I'm like, hey, would you like a glass of, baby killers? And I'm like, oh, jeez, come on.
Perfect fucking Jackson impression.
Can we just talk for a second without going, I don't like gay people. Come on, Victoria. All right, let's get the check and go.
I've already fucked 10 SNL dudes.
All right, so Joe Piscopo is solid number one. All right, so our number ones are definitely different. Your number one is...
It's by process of elimination, it's Pamela Stevens.
Pamela Stevens. Oh, I forgot Pamela Stevenson. Pamela Stevenson. Number one. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, she's definitely on the list. I'm not knocking Pamela Stevenson.
She's on your list at number 10, which makes no fucking sense.
10. Yeah, number 10. I mean, well, also, your familiarity with Pamela Stevenson is more Superman 3 than SNL.
Oh, yeah, well, sure, but, you know.
My familiarity with this, she was not good on SNL. She was not really funny, didn't add much, but she's a looker, I'll grant you that.
Now there was fucking Noel Wells, but I put her on the list.
Well, yeah, that's your list, and that's your problem. My number one is, of course, the Queen of Queens, Miss Mary Gross.
This is a mean pick. This isn't real. If you were objectively judging this, you would not put Mary Gross over Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
I'm saying, you line up Mary Gross, Nassim Pedrad, Julie Louis-Dreyfus, Sherry O'Terry, Sashir Zameda, Abby Elliott, Jan Hooks, Gail Mathias, Sarah Silverman, and Pamela Stevenson. Who am I taking home? I'm taking home Mary Gross.
I don't trust it. I don't believe in it. I feel like it's you're just doing it for the clicks.
Nope, I'm taking her home. 100%. All right, now, let's see. My wife also has been texting me a lot.
Well, it's only top 10.
Well, she says you had a top 4. Well, you've texted me so much. Okay, resend your top 4 because I can't. Because here's a selection of your texts. Wait.
Don't read her text out loud.
She's ugly. She looks like a dude. Big dick. Bill Hader, big dick. She is not cute. See, I don't know who we're talking about. All right. So she's texting me now in real time. I'm getting her number 1, her number 2, her number 3, and your number 4. Oh, come on. Okay, so my wife's number 4 is Pete Davidson.
Yeah, fuck you.
Boo! Didn't even make my considerations.
No.
Number 3, she went Jason Sudeikis. I'll agree with that. Number 2, she went Norm. And number 1, she went Chevy Chase.
You know, I almost had Dan Aykroyd as well.
Dan Aykroyd was a consideration. Dan Aykroyd in the 70s.
SNL era Dan Aykroyd, not Dan Aykroyd now.
I mean, if we were doing post-SNL careers, Dan Aykroyd's big fat ass would be number 1 for me, definitely. But, in the 70s, yeah, he had the swagger, too. He's looking good. Anybody didn't make our lists? Any other late cuts you can think of? I'm trying to think. Kristen Wiig was a late cut for me. Maya Rudolph was also a late cut for me. But I was also thinking, Maya Rudolph was on the show for 8 years. First 2 or 3 seasons of Maya Rudolph, oh, yeah. And then, last 3 seasons, you're like, oh, no, now she looks like my mom. So, I was taking the whole thing in consideration.
I briefly considered, I'm blanking on who I was thinking of. I don't even fucking remember.
Phil Hartman was a late, Chris Farley we talked about. Dana Carvey I also considered.
I thought about Dana Carvey, but I don't know. He's just too goofy.
Then I thought about John Milheiser, too. Because I was like, well, maybe he'll be into me, at least. I mean, I picked 10, as far as I know, straight guys.
You picked 10 people that were way above your class.
Yeah, and I'm like, maybe if I met John Milheiser in a bar, and I'm like, hey, I'm the one guy who remembers you from SNL. He's like, hey, what are you doing tonight?
Oh, no, another one I was thinking of, Damon Wayans.
Damon Wayans was also a cut for me. Can I just say I am very proud of the diversity in my list. I have 3 African-American gentlemen. No, 2. I almost had Jay Farrow, too. Jay Farrow was a late cut.
Do I have any?
I have Eddie Murphy and Tim Meadows, and then
mine are all white dudes.
And Ego Nodum was a late cut for me. And then Nassim Pedrad is, I think she's Iranian?
To be fair, I'm a horrible racist, and I only like
he only likes tall, white, skinny dudes. And my wife is also, her number 5, Jimmy Fallon.
Oh, fuck you!
Because I was looking at the cast today, and I was like, it was like Pete Davidson and Jimmy Fallon, like the cute boys of SNL. They do nothing for me. But again, this is a straight dude talking.
Well,
so.
I copied all of the SNL cast members into an Excel spreadsheet. And it was like highlighting with different colors based on...
And then I rated them by how big I think their penis is.
I deleted him. I didn't even fucking put him on the list.
No, Jimmy Fallon and Pete Davidson, neither were in consideration for me at all. They did not make my 30 of the 30 people I was going through and going, yeah, now we can take out Casey Wilson. Casey Wilson, yeah, I like me some Casey Wilson.
Could not tell you what she looks like.
All right, so that's our list.
That's been like 40 minutes.
That's a whole episode.
Are we going to talk about fucking Three to Tango?
We'll
we
be
can just
back.
skip it and watch something I picked.
We'll be back to talk about Three to Tango for 15 minutes.
Fuck.